What is up, guys? My name is Tausif Hussain, and today we're talking about last mile vehicles slash electronic skateboards. So it all started for me about 2 years ago when my car lease was about to expire and I was trying to decide what car should I get. Then I realized that I was pretty much using my car to go to the train station for work, park there, and then commute to work on the train and then come back. So I started thinking, do I really need to get another car? Or can I make do with something else? So I initially ended up getting the boosted longboard version 2. And then about a year down the road, I got the boosted mini. And then this year, I got the Onewheel Plus XR. So having experienced both the boosted board and the Onewheel, I decided to make a video comparing and contrasting them so you, the well-informed consumer, can make a sound purchase. So let's get started. Okay, so now I'm just trying to think, how best can I present this to you guys? I got an idea. Let's go. Okay, so the first thing we're discussing is the learning curve. In terms of learning curve, the boosted longboard, I would probably say it's the quickest and easiest to learn on. Once you got used to the board pretty much carrying you and the remote control, then you are fine. It also has a lot of flex to it, which kind of adds suspension, and it made it feel a lot safer when you're riding. So I would put the boosted longboard somewhere around here. The boosted mini, on the other hand, even though it's kind of like the longboard, the skateboard, the shorter form factor of it kind of made it feel a lot more quicker or zippier, and also at higher speeds I felt a little less safer. So I would probably put the boosted mini slightly higher than the actual longboard. In terms of the Onewheel, by far I would say the learning curve on this was the most difficult. I would probably put it all the way up here, kind of quite a bit of a distance between those two. And simply because there was no remote control, no nothing, and it was self-balancing, it took me a little bit of time to get used to how it would work and to just get the balance right. And even if you had to get off it, the manual literally says that you gotta jump off with both feet, or you gotta take off part of your foot from the sensor and then the board would stop working. So getting used to the whole experience of the Onewheel definitely takes some time and some patience that you'd need to invest. Okay, so next up we're going to be talking about the build quality. In terms of build quality, both the boosted boards have awesome build quality. I pretty much had no issues. However, you got to keep in mind that they're belt-driven systems, which means that you may need to change their belts every year or so. However, the Onewheel, again, is built like a tank. Like, this thing is built to sustain a beating. So in terms of build quality, again, I would put it like somewhere around here. So again, higher than both the boosted boards, simply because it has fewer moving parts. It also has a center core, which is the brushless hub motor, and that pretty much fuels this entire thing. I've literally had many people, including myself and my friends, ride this in several different conditions, such as dry, wet, different terrains, off-road, and a lot of my friends even learned on my board and took quite a few tumbles. The board was solid. However, because this thing takes a beating as you ride it, if you'd like to maintain your board in pristine condition, I'd highly recommend covering it up with some gear from the Float Life. So on my board here, I actually got the Sidekicks HD, so they're kind of translucent, so you can't really see that I have it on here, but it's here and it's protecting the sides. And I also got the float plates, which pretty much go below the board in order to protect the bottom of the board. And these also allow you to do tricks because they have a smooth finish, so if you want to do tricks with it, you can. Once again, I got the stuff from the Float Life, link in the description down below. Check them out. Okay, so next up we're going to be talking about maneuverability. In terms of maneuverability, I would probably say the boosted longboard was the toughest for me to maneuver, so I would put this as least maneuverable down here. if I wanted to make any tight turns or anything like that, I would literally have to stop. I would have to get off the board, pick it up, turn it around, put it down, and then continue going. The Boosted Board Mini was quite a bit better, so in terms of maneuverability, I'd put it a little bit higher. That's because it was shorter, and if I wanted to make some tight turns, I would be able to use the kicktail at the back, but I would have to stop or slow down, and then once I do that, then I'd be able to kind of take the front off, use the kicktail, and then change directions and then continue going. So it was definitely better than the longboard. And again, the winner here is the Onewheel. In terms of maneuverability, it takes the cake again, just because of how maneuverable it is. It's on one wheel, so I'm able to make tight turns, I'm able to change directions or go in circles a lot easier with this guy. It made it so effortless and so easy. Just had to literally lean and it would take you there. And you can kind of ride the edges of the tire because there's just one tire and make really tight turns even at decent speeds. Okay, next up, we're gonna be talking about commute factor. In terms of the commute, the boosted longboard, it was actually pretty good. The actual commute was smooth, it was comfortable. Getting to the train station was not an issue because it would go at high speeds. I felt comfortable, I felt safe. The only issue is when you actually get to the GO station, then having to lug it around, it was bigger than what you'd want to carry, and it was also a little bit on the heavier side, so I would say it's somewhere about the middle over here. But I gotta say the king of this particular criteria is the Boosted Board Mini. Like, this thing was a dream to commute with, and it was the main reason I actually picked it up. I would say it goes somewhere all the way up here. It has the highest ranking simply because although the commute may not be as comfortable as the longboard, however, once you got to the train station, this thing was a breeze to carry. You could carry it with your full arm extended. You didn't have to bend your arm because the board is slightly shorter. Okay, now the Onewheel. If you're thinking about commuting with this guy and you have a little bit of distance to walk, or you gotta put it in the train or the bus, don't do it. Just don't do it. I was really hoping that I could use this guy for commuting, but nope, did not work. However, don't get me wrong, actually getting to the train station was a breeze. I loved it on this guy. I'd be able to take it on grass, take shortcuts, or even enter sidewalks that had a higher incline or a steeper incline. But when you got to the train station or the bus station and you had to walk with this guy, or if you have to take it on the bus or train, like, forget it. Like, it was a mission. This thing weighs a ton. It was just very stressful for me to commute with this guy, so I'd recommend that you don't do it. In terms of commute factor, I would even bump this up and put this all the way down. Okay, so next up we're talking about safety. Now, safety is a super important metric because you're putting yourself out there. You're going out there and you're traveling really fast and you want to be safe. You don't want to end up harming yourself, or worse, literally on these products it says risk of injury or death. So, I mean, it's a serious matter. So you got to be careful. Out of these three, I would say the safest option for you is the boosted longboard, and that's why I would place it in terms of safety all the way up here. It has a longer deck, so you're able to spread yourself out a little bit. It has a lot more flex to it, so it feels a lot more comfortable. There's better suspension on it, and also you feel more in control. You have a remote in your hand. The braking on both the boosted boards actually is phenomenal, almost instant, so you feel like you have the power, the control, and make split-second decisions. In terms of the boosted board mini, I'd say it goes somewhere in the middle because it is safer than the actual Onewheel. However, it felt a little less safer than the boosted longboard simply because you had a shorter stance and it felt a little bit zippier to get it going. So all of those things combined, it made it feel a little less safer. There's a little less flex in it. I mean, the board actually does not flex at all. So in terms of safety, I'd rank it a little bit less than the boosted longboard personally. Now, in terms of the Onewheel, this one's a little bit of a mixed bag. And I say that because if you just take this out of the box with no prior experience and no mods that you make to it, then it is probably the least safest. So I'm gonna put it all the way down here. And also it took me a little bit of time to get used to the mechanics, the self-balancing, how to turn, how to lean, how to dismount or even mount. So all these things are a little more trickier compared to the actual boosted boards. Also, on the other hand, you can argue that the Onewheel is in fact safer than the other two in certain instances, because for example, if you're riding and there's uneven terrain, or let's say there's cobblestones or some sort of rocks and pebbles on the road, then the Onewheel actually will be able to handle that a lot better than the boosted board. I've had this issue of several times where I wouldn't take the sidewalk on the boosted board because some of the sidewalks in my neighborhood have a really steep incline and they're slightly bit higher. So if I approach the sidewalk, literally my boosted board wheels will get stuck and I will go flying forward. But with the Onewheel, I didn't have that issue because it would literally just climb it and I could keep going. But the number one problem with Onewheels, and if you search or research Onewheels, you'll hear people talk about this a lot, it's called nosediving. So if you're going on the Onewheel really fast and you go past the limits of the Onewheel, what it does is it kind of pushes you back a little bit, but some people may not notice that pushback. So what they do is they step on it a little bit harder, right? And if they keep doing that, then at a certain point the Onewheel cannot exert it over its limit that much, and what it does is it just shuts down. And what ends up happening is the front of the board, the nose of the board, literally slams down and it throws the rider forward, right? And this is called nosediving. However, I did find something to alleviate the concerns with this. And in my opinion, this one mod is an absolute must if you're getting into one-wheeling. And that is fangs. These are tiny wheels that you can install at the front of your board so that if you do nosedive, you can literally ride it out and your board won't slam the ground throwing you forward. If there's one accessory you're gonna get for the Onewheel, in my opinion, it's this. I'll leave the link to the website where I got it from down below, so go check it out. And it honestly gave me a lot more confidence and peace of mind riding out there, knowing that if I did ever nosedive, I had something to help me out. Okay, and last but not least, we are now talking about the fun factor. If I'm being honest, this is the number one reason why I personally and majority of the people who do get these things get it for. It's the fun factor. Yes, there's commuting, there's practicality to it, but the fun factor is super important. In terms of fun factor, I would say the boosted board, longboard, it's super fun. I would put it somewhere around here. So if you just want to get to your destination the fastest you can and you just want to slam that throttle and go super fast, then I would say the boosted longboard is your best bet. The boosted board mini is a little bit slower than the longboard, however, it felt somewhat zippier and even scarier, to be quite honest, because it was smaller, and the kicktail on it on the back allows you to do more tricks and stuff like that if you want it. So I would probably rank it somewhere around the same as the boosted longboard. But after riding all three, if I've got to be honest, I gotta say the Onewheel XR takes the cake in terms of fun factor. It is definitely a lot more fun in my opinion. It's pretty much a mind reading device and it kind of becomes an extension of your body. It pretty much gives you wheels. Like, I mean, the ability to carve with it, or the ability to take it off roads, take it on the grass, take it on trails, take it wherever you want to go. It's just phenomenal. It literally feels like you're floating. Like when you're riding this thing, it literally feels like you're flying. I highly recommend, in terms of fun factor, I would rank it all the way up here. Okay, so that pretty much concludes my comparison on these three boards. Honestly, you can't say one board is the best compared to the others. They all pretty much do their own thing uniquely, and it pretty much comes down to what you are looking for from your board. But one thing's for sure, you can't go wrong with any of these. So if you found this video beneficial and you thought it was helpful in helping you make that decision, then please make sure you go ahead and like this video. Also, if you found this content beneficial to you and you like videos about tech, gadgets, filmmaking, and lifestyle, then make sure you guys go ahead and smash that subscribe button. And also let me know in the comment section down below which one of these three you prefer and why, or which one of these three you got and why. I would love to hear your thoughts, and I'd love to have a conversation with you guys down there. That being said, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this video and it was beneficial to you, and I will see you guys on the next one. Peace. Slow down. However, with the Onewheel, what the heck?